Sup everyone, I'm Kel, Red Zone Rogue, and today I have a very special Flesh and Blood video for you. Today I'm revealing an official spoiler card for the next Flesh and Blood set, ARCANE Rising, and I'm really excited for y'all to see it. I do also want to give a hearty shout out and thank you to Legend Story Studios and Flesh and Blood for giving me this spoiler to share with everyone. So our spoiler card is a card for the new Ranger hero, Azalea. First of all, she looks incredibly rad. I really like the style of this new hero. I am definitely going to be making a deck with Azalea as the headliner, but I digress. Our spoiler card is called Nock the Deathwhistle. This card is a Ranger action with 3 pitch value and a cost of 0. That cost of 0 is actually pretty relevant. I think it's really good that this card costs 0. It makes it quite powerful. It does have a defense value of 3, and it also says Azalea Specialization, which means you may only have Nock the Deathwhistle in your deck if your hero is Azalea. And the card says, search your deck for an arrow card, reveal it, then shuffle your deck and put it on top of your deck. Then it has a new reload mechanic, which says, if you have no cards in your arsenal, you may put a card from your hand face down into your arsenal, and then it says, go again. So basically, for just the cost of having this card in your hand, since it has a play cost of 0, you get to search your deck for any arrow card, and I will talk about the arrow cards in just a second. You have to reveal it, and you put it on top of your deck after you shuffle. So you don't get to just search for an arrow and then put it into your hand. You do have to wait a while, or maybe play another card that lets you draw a card. But it also has this reload ability, which is really sweet. You get to put a card into your arsenal. And then it also has go again, so you regain your action point, so you can play another card, maybe one that would maybe draw you a card. I think this card is actually really sweet. Historically speaking, cards that let you search for other cards in trading card games tend to be quite powerful. This one is a little bit more narrow as you have to search for an arrow card, but I kind of feel that cards that let you just search for anything become a little bit too ubiquitous and they just kind of go in every single deck without having to think about strategy or deck building. So you may be asking yourself, what is an arrow card? Well, here is Searing Shot. This is a Ranger action arrow attack. This card is a common. It has an attack value of 4, defense value of 3. It has a pitch value of 1 and a cost of 0. And it says arrows can only be played from arsenal and only if you control a bow, which is actually very relevant for Nock the Deathwhistle because you get a reload, which lets you put a card from your hand into your arsenal, kind of like reloading your quiver. So you could, with Nock the Deathwhistle, search your deck for a Searing Shot, put it on top of your deck, and then put one from your hand into your arsenal with that reload ability, so you can then use it with your next action because it has go again. And then Searing Shot also says if Searing Shot hits a hero, they lose an additional health. It's basically kind of like damage +1, but it doesn't look like they can mitigate that additional health loss, which is pretty good. It kind of goes over armor and that kind of stuff. So Searing Shot also mentions bows. So let's talk about that. Here is Death Dealer. This is a Ranger weapon 2-handed bow. It has a 1 per turn action with a cost of 1. If you have no cards in your arsenal, you may put an arrow card from your hand face up into your arsenal. If you do, draw a card, go again. So you can kind of see how all of these cards synergize with each other. Nock the Deathwhistle lets you go search for an arrow card, put it on top of your deck. You get a reload and then you get to go again. Death Dealer you can then use to do the once per turn action to put an arrow from your hand face up into your arsenal. If you do draw a card, so you can draw that card that you just searched for with Nock the Deathwhistle, and then go again, and you can kind of fire off that card with your next action and then, try to deal some damage. I really like the flavor behind this. It really does feel like, knocking arrows and firing them rather than just being like, hey, I attack with my arrow. You kind of have to prepare it, pull the bowstring back and get ready to fire. I think it's actually really cool flavor. And finally, I do want to talk about Azalea herself. Here is Azalea, Ace in the Hole. She is a Ranger hero, of course, with a starting hand size of 4 and a starting life total of 40. Of course, if you're playing the young version, their starting life total would be 20. And she has a once per turn action with a cost of 0, which is really cool. Put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. If you do, put the top card of your deck face up into your arsenal. If it's an arrow card, it gains Dominate until end of turn, go again. And Dominate just means that the defending hero can't defend the attack with more than one card from their hand. So you can do this once per turn. So unless your arrows actually have go again, or you have a way to give your arrows go again, you can kind of just like prep one arrow per turn to let loose and do as much damage as possible. Maybe cause some ailments or, you know, additional damage like Searing Shot does. Nock the Deathwhistle overall is an excellent specialization for Azalea. It synergizes incredibly well with her once per turn action, you know, being able to search your deck for any arrow and put it on the top of your deck. And Azalea's once per turn action, if you have a card in your arsenal, you get to put it on the bottom of your deck and then get the top card of your deck into your arsenal. It of course is going to be a arrow if you are using Nock the Deathwhistle, which then gains Dominate until end of turn, and then you get to go again, which means you get to fire off that arrow. Really powerful. A lot of synergy with Azalea and all the cards here. And once again, I'm really excited to build a deck with her. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I would also like to note before we end the video that Nock the Deathwhistle is a super rare, so you won't see it pop up too often in your booster packs because it is pretty powerful. Getting something like this in a sealed or draft pool could be really good, especially if you can pull a really powerful arrow card. For example, I know if I open this in my draft pool or sealed pool, it would really heavily influence me to start playing Azalea over any of the other heroes in the set. And that was the video, everyone. If you all liked the video, then maybe leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of my official spoiler, Nock the Deathwhistle. Like I said, I think it's really cool. I'm super stoked for Arcane Rising. I have already personally placed pre-orders for the set. I'm really stoked to get my hands on it and start building some decks. You can expect some deck in the box videos as well as booster box openings and maybe even some deck techs, maybe of Azalea here in the future on Red Zone Rogue. Also, don't forget to click that bell notification thing because it really helps a lot. Regardless of what you do, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for some more card game content. I'll see you later.